They talk about there being a kingdom or a territory not in the far west that would be the furthest thing in the world known at that time. It was called Tartessos without wanting to continue, having not that historiographical weight of the myth and of the legend, because well then the source is narrated as a very rich in silver. The arrival of so much of Phoenicians first from Greeks later and others is just to trade with those metals, with the rest of Mediterranean. So I think the metal has always been the common thread of all the history of Tartesso music. There is a moment in which they abandon only the buildings but leaves the entire territory. Occurs animal sacrifice, 9 cows, 4 pigs and a dog that are placed in a theatrical way on
the ground. The sacrifice of animals and the concealment of the building marks the end of the settlement here. They are not remains from the 5th century before of Christ. There is nothing left. We think that there is not only a cause for it to disappear. Late important births are below the current cities of Seville, Huelva, Cadiz, with which you can only recover sections. I think the greatest jewel that the site, not what is architecture, it was indeed much more advanced than what we think. The staircase, perhaps it is one of the best examples of that technological advance and architectural. Not only its dimension is what gives the characteristic, but the material that is has used to make it. The 6 lower steps that are made of mortar of lime, which in this case is the mortar ancient calm of the Iberian Peninsula. It had always been considered that this mortar is introduced into the peninsula Iberia with the arrival of the Romans. The ritual consists of first to make a great banquet where he gathers lots of people and all the materials there to break and scatters by the entire deposit. Not after that burn the building and do previously an animal sacrifice had never been documented, not one hecatomb of this type here. Also the fire looks very good. It is seen that the focus was very important because the stones even fully appear broken and not from the heat. The hypothesis that we have always considered to give a cause to this abandonment is the arrival of the peoples of the North Celts, that is good, they would invade this space and in addition, we do not have, for example, weapons that they would be necessary to defend themselves. We think that there is some phase where there is high humidity that does not allow intensive agriculture. No, and this makes do not have any means to subsist. Not the push of the Assyrians towards the Greeks, not what makes the Greeks feel move. What happens for example with the Phoenicians are not going to the north of Africa. No, and they found Carthage. There is a strong movement in the Mediterranean that could influence that. It did not interest so much trade. A site that is very much not further away, they would be very interesting. For example, find writing, not find some file type or some kind of communication. I believe that the Turinuolo is like a big surprise box. How many elements will not have left hidden for try well then start rebuilding this great puzzle.